So Maths Unit 1, so that's the non-calculator paper. Question number 1. So we have an isosceles triangle and we also have a pair of parallel lines. We're trying to find the size of angle x. So the parallel lines allow us to spot that there is a z angle here, which means we have 76 degrees here as well. With the isosceles triangle, it means there's a 76 degrees up here. So then we can find angle y, if I'm to call that there, by doing 76 plus 76, which is 152. 180 minus 152 equals 18 degrees. And then x plus y is on a straight line, so to find x, again, we can use 180 minus the 18, which gives us the 152 degrees, which is the correct answer. Question number 2. Rotate the triangle through 90 degrees anti-clockwise about the point 2, minus 1. Place some tracing paper over the top. Do a quick sketch of the triangle where it is. Find the point 2, minus 1, mark it, and then I would suggest just put an arrow to show where straight up is to start with. And now we're going anti-clockwise and we're moving 90 degrees, which means that the arrow needs to face towards the left so we can see where the new triangle would be. And obviously with proper tracing paper you'd be able to see that it's there, where you can then draw their shape. Using the point B as the centre, enlarge the shape by a scale factor of 1/2. So all the corners of this shape need to be half as far away from this point as they currently are, and obviously half the length as well. Currently I need to go down 2 squares to get to this corner, so I'm only going to have to go down 1 square, which takes me to this point here for the new corner. To get to this point I currently go 4 to the left and 2 down, so half of all that is going to be 2 to the left and 1 down, and that becomes the new bottom corner. From there I can probably draw most of the shape just by halving the lengths, so instead of going 6 squares up now, I'm only going to go 3 squares up. Now the slanted sides are not quite so straightforward, so again it's easier to work out where this point is. So to get to this point currently I go up 2, 4, 6 squares, 7 squares, let's count that again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I go 6 squares up and then I go 1, 2, 3, 4 across. Half of all of that, 1, 2, 3 up, 2 across, that becomes the new point, and then I can just join up the 2 other lines that are already there with that point. Question number 3. How many sides does this polygon have altogether? So I'm going to use exterior angles to help me. So I'm going to find that that angle out there is 18 degrees because the interior plus the exterior makes 180. I also know that 360 divided by the number of sides equals the exterior angle. So I know in this case that 360 divided by n is equal to 18. I can swap these around. 360 divided by 18 equals n, which gives me n to be 20 sides in my shape. Megan has a fair 6-sided dice, throws it twice, probability she gets a 4 both times. Probability she gets a 4 first time is 1/6, and again it second time is also 1/6. 1/36 is the answer. Find the integer that satisfies the equation x cubed minus 2x equals 21. All an integer is a whole number, so I'm going to try some and see what happens. So I'm going to let x equal 1. 1 cubed is 1. 2 times 1 is 2. So 1 minus 2 equals minus 1, which is not 21, so that's no good. Since that's quite a long way away, I'm going to skip 1 this time and I'm going to go up to x equals 3. So I get 3 cubed is 27, minus 2 times 3, so minus 26, which is 21, so x equals 3 is my solution. Solve y squared equals 49, so to get rid of the y squared I need to square root both sides, so I end up with y equals the square root of 49, and be careful that y can be plus or minus 7 then to satisfy that equation. Expand the bracket, 3x to the power of 4 minus 5x cubed. Adding fractions, I'm going to add the whole numbers together, which give me 6, and then I've got 3/4 plus 3/8. I'm going to multiply this fraction by 2, so I end up with 6/8 plus 3/8. So in total I have 9/8. Now that is the same as 1 whole 1 and 1/8. We've already got this 6 here, so we're going to add that 6 to the 1 whole 1 and an 8, and we end up with 7 whole 1s and 1/8. Volume of a cylinder. So the volume is pi r squared h. So volume in this case is pi, which they're asking to estimate, is 3, times by 16 times by 10. So that comes to 480 centimeters cubed, and 1 litre equals 1000 centimeters cubed. So you can see that 5 litres would be 5000 centimeters cubed, which is a lot more than 480. Question number 8, write down the nth term of the sequence. So we're going up 4 each time, so we start with 4n, and then how do I get from 4 to 9? I add 5, and that's the end of it. 149 is in the sequence. Is she correct or not? So if I take 149 and I subtract 5, I end up with 144, because if I take away 5, now I should be left with 4n. If 144 is in the 4 times table, which it is, so she is correct, and the reason being 144 is in the 4 times table. You could also do the division and find out that it's the 36th term, which would be acceptable as well. So, talking about this sequence at the bottom, Imran says that there'll be 110 in pattern 8. So to check, we need to find out what is in pattern 8. So if you see pattern 1 is 2 by 3, so this side is 2 by 3. Pattern 2 we have 3 by 4, 4 by 5, 5 by 6. So in pattern 8 we would have 9 times 10, so pattern 8 will be made up of a 9 by 10 grid, which is 90, and therefore his 110 question, his guess is incorrect. File says the pattern has the following nth term. If we factorise this, so we look for two numbers that add and times, add to make 3 and times to make 2. 1 and 2 obviously do that. We find that this is n plus 1 times by n plus 2. Now if we look back to the pattern, we established that in pattern 2 it was 3 times 4. So if n was 2, 3 would be n plus 1 and 4 would be n plus 2. Here again, if 3 was the n, we'd get n plus 1 times n plus 2. So by showing that her nth term is n plus 1 times n plus 2, we are showing yes, that is correct. Question number 9. Complete the group frequency. Remember, we just keep a running total, so this would be 32, 78, 130, 100 and... right there, would it be 130? 132, sorry, 150 and 160. Then we're going to draw the cumulative frequency, which is on the next page. So less than 100 was 0, less than 200 was 10. So if 40 squares are with 40, it is obviously 10 is there. Less than 300 was 32. Less than 400, 78. Less than 500, 132. Make sure a little bit more accurate with your markings than I am. Obviously doing it a bit quicker because I trust you to do that. Less than 600 is 150. And less than 700 is then obviously 160. Join this up with either a free-flowing curve, or you can do it with straight lines. Next question asks for an estimate of the interquartile range. So the upper quartile is 3/4 of the way through the data, so that is at 120, and that comes to about 480, and then a quarter of the way through the data is at 40, and that comes down at 320. So we have 480 minus 320, which is 160. Your answer might be slightly different, but they will check based on your graph. Estimate the number of workers with a weekly age of more than 520. So 520 is here. So if I draw a line up at 520, and then I draw a line across from my graph, that is about 136. So there's 160 people altogether, and the only people who had more than 520 are the people in this region here, so there would be 24 people in that region.